Hey Mallards, it is Tuesday. Yep, it's Tuesday. I had to look at the calendar just to make sure because the days of the week mean nothing to me now. And we are going to watch Anastasia. Woo! We're very excited. Megan is hopefully excited. She's never seen this before.
Not as an adult, at least. I don't have any recollection of it.
She has no memory of seeing Anastasia. Anastasia was my favorite princess for a long time. We have now finished Anastasia. What do you think, Megan?
It's good.
Yeah? Did you enjoy it more than the last nostalgia flick we made you watch?
Yeah, this film's objectively better than Flubber, which is not a good movie.
I love Anastasia. I love the music. It has a lot of... Yeah, every song does slap. Amanda's right. And it has a lot of my, favorite songs. I would say that as far as songs that I sang when I was a kid, it's The Fox and the Hound, which has all of my number one songs are from The Fox and the Hound. And then Anastasia.
I feel like Anastasia holds up, but isn't as great as everyone. It's better when you're a kid, obviously, and the animation is not wonderful.
Yeah, I feel like it's also hard to judge seeing it the first time as an adult because you then hold it against things that you also saw when you were a kid.
It's not animation-wise comparable to what Disney was doing at the time, which historically makes sense, and I know the history of Anastasia more than I know the actual film Anastasia.
Yeah.
But when people talk about it, they talk about it being one of the only films to hold up to Disney. And animation-wise, it doesn't. But story and music-wise, it definitely does.
Don't know if I necessarily disagree because they do a lot of 3D versus 2D composite.
Yeah, which they do.
Which looks weird now that we have very high definition, but when you were watching it on a lower resolution, it looks more seamless.
Yeah.
So it's weird seeing it now, but if they did a remastered where they smoothed some of those out, I think it would be
the animation is a little chunky, a little clunky. I think the editing is also a little clunky. They do a lot of fades. The part where they're on a boat, they're about to get on the boat and then it fades to black and then it fades up and he gives her a dress and then it fades to black again. And I was we were up for less than a minute. That was weird. So I think that the editing isn't as smooth as it could be. And the animation doesn't help. But that's the only
but it's
negative.
Got real good music and it has a good story. Mm-hmm. And we were discussing that it has a very different ideal of relationship than all of the Disney princess films of the time. It is similar in dynamics to Tangled, but Tangled obviously is way more recent than Anastasia.
Well, it's only 10 years older than Anastasia. Tangled is over 10 years old now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Years younger than Anastasia.
No, but it's probably 15 years younger than Anastasia. Tangled's 10 years old now? Yeah, okay, so it's probably 10 years younger. But
97 versus 2010.
Yeah.
13 versus.
But all of the contemporary ones at the time were very much the
Yeah, the closest is Jasmine, which is was different for its time. I mean, Mulan came out near this. They have a similar dynamic where they both don't like each other at first.
Yeah, and then they sort of grow to like each other. But the difference being that
she has to be a boy for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in order for him to not be attracted to her, she literally has to be a boy. And then as soon as
listing everything where they aren't immediately in love, which is not the point of this dynamic.
Yeah, I think
they're not comparable just because they aren't immediately in love.
Yeah, I think that Mulan is similar in that they
they do have
need to earn each other's respect, and that they're a little combative.
Yeah, but pretty much instantly when he figures out she's a girl,
is entirely different because
they're at war,
and also
her commanding
Yeah,
officer.
and also thinks she's a guy.
But I feel like it's similar in this Dimitri like is trying to train Anastasia to do something.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any
Yeah.
actual authority.
But it like
Yeah.
kind of feels like he does. She has no knowledge of who she is or what's going on, and he's teaching her about something she's slowly believing to be her life.
I would say, though, the difference is that Anastasia treats Dimitri like he's her equal immediately. Like, there's no deference there because there shouldn't be. And that is one of the things that makes this dynamically very different than literally up until Tangled. Because up until Tangled, there is some sort of power dynamic between every prince and princess.
Hercules and Megara are not a prince and princess, but I feel like the vibe's a little more similar.
Yeah, they're a little bit more on equal footing. But
Except
they're
Hercules
not.
is immediately like, pretty girl, let me talk
He's
to
like,
her.
pretty girl, let me talk to her, and she's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one, they're both like, I guess we have
guess
to.
we have to hang
In this one, he's
join
like,
this.
whoa, she looks like Anastasia.
Yeah,
Which
she's
is a
useful.
version. He's a version of
Yeah.
damsel in distress.
So
I need to save her.
She's it is
really.
a
not in that
useful
she's
to
a
me.
damsel in
His-
distress.
His
Not
motivations are self-serving
Yeah.
and like
whose are Dimitri.
Dimitri's.
I feel like Hercules is too. I need to save a damsel in distress. That's how I become a hero.
Yeah, that's true. Like she just fits the mold
I'm
rather
gonna go
than
save
like
her.
fitting as a like she fits because she's a damsel in distress, not because he finds her attractive. Which is similar. She is not a princess, nor and I would also say that there is a different dynamic to this film is Anastasia. So it is similar to Snow White or Cinderella as opposed to Hercules or Aladdin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that that's really interesting. But the fact that they're equals, I think is what always intrigued me about this, is that their dynamic from the beginning is they are on the same level. And that's not the case with Ariel and her prince at all, especially when they actually meet. And it's not the case with Belle and the Beast. And it's not the case with Snow White and her prince. She's literally unconscious. So
Yeah.
and when Aurora meets her prince, she's a peasant girl and he's a prince. In the when they meet in the woods and that dream dance thing. And then when they meet later, she's also literally unconscious.
You can tell that Mallory really knows her stuff.
I don't know anything about Sleeping Beauty. It's probably my least favorite of the Disney films. But isn't that the Once Upon a Dream? Yeah.
It just made it sound like it was a dream sequence
Yeah.
in their dream dance.
But they actually do meet, but they remember. I don't really understand how that works at all.
Dance in the woods and they meet.
Yeah.
it's
But
also
then
different
she
in that in
also-
the big fight scene at the end in like The Little Mermaid. It's largely like Prince Eric who like impales Ursula with a ship, right? In this, Dimitri comes to help, but he's not the one that defeats the villain.
That's so true.
No, he gets hit by a column like
He,
Meg.
like,
I was
tries
saying
to
that
help,
the
but
relationship's
doesn't
similar.
really.
That Dimitri is
Is Meg.
Megara and Hercules is Anastasia.
Listen, there are a lot of great moments in this film. Most of them have bar talk.
No, most of them have puka.
I was gonna say most of them have bar talk. The ones that don't have bar talk have puka. But one that doesn't feature either of them is the moment when Dimitri goes to throw himself off the bridge because he thinks Anastasia's fallen and just gets hit by the flying horse, which is hilarious every time.
Some of it is just animated so weird.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
true.
the real dream couple in this movie is Vladimir and Puka.
It's so true.
They're in love.
It's a really fun film. It does have one of the creepier villains. I like
Oh, yeah,
How
Mike dated Rasputin.
disturbing Rasputin is.
There's a lot of similarities between this film and Princess and the Frog, for sure, in that respect, and in the
Dr. Facilier is not as gross, though. Because he's not a
So
literal
true.
corpse.
Yeah. Well, Disney can't give you a literal corpse.
That's why they're weak.
I would also say that I prefer Bartok to all of the villain sidekicks.
He's similar to Iago.
He's got a
He's
similar
funnier.
vibe to Iago, but
I
he's
feel
funnier
like
and
Iago
also has
wants to be evil.
more
Bartok
of
is
a
like,
heart.
I'm just here.
yeah. Bartok's got more of a heart.
Like, Iago never turns the tables to, like, be nice.
Also, are we just not thinking about Pain and Panic here? Because they're the true heroes of Hercules.
Listen, Hercules' downfall is that Hades doesn't have a good villain song. Doesn't
You're
have
right.
a villain song.
You're right. That's probably why it hasn't been a Broadway musical yet.
I'm 100% sure. They need to write a villain song.
Jafar also doesn't have a good villain song, so what's that
He
excuse?
has the reprise of Prince Ali.
Not in the live action.
Well,
Yeah. But there's a lot of things in that live action we've discussed. No, I enjoy Anastasia. I think for its time it was different and unique. It does have a strange animation style, but that was less noticeable before crazy
4K.
HD
Back in the
4K.
day.
And the music holds up and it's so good. All of those songs are so good. I will be singing all of them for the next few days, and Megan probably will be too, and she doesn't even necessarily know them.
and the art style for Paris Holds the Key to Your Heart is so pretty. Adult Amanda realized that it's pointillism because of Georges Seurat and other, like, notable pointillists, but baby me did not know that and still thought it was really pretty, so...
This Amanda just had an extra semester of college to finish art history, so...
Hey! So we had a good
3
time.
years ago.
It's been a good night. It's still early. We might do other stuff, but this video is long enough, so I'll see you tomorrow.